Welcome once more to the hallowed halls of our grand library. Today our tale takes us into the depths of history, where we shall uncover the secrets of the ancient forest known as Ashenvale. Join me, Hogarth the Orc Slayer, as we weave the tale of this primordial land. Ashenvale lies south of Darkshore and Felwood, west of Azshara, and north of the Stone Talon Mountains and the Barrens. This forest, abundant with ancient trees and vibrant life, retains a deeper magical essence and a profound connection to nature, despite pockets tainted by darkness. Numerous lakes nestle beneath the forest canopy, offering serene havens for all sorts of wildlife. The Night Elves, custodians of this ancestral land, maintain control over strongholds like Astronar, Maestra's Post, Silverwing Grove, and the Shrine of Asina. In contrast, the Horde have recently settled in the area within the Eastern Woods as Splinter Tree Post and established a smaller presence on the western beach known as Zoramgar Outpost. They've extended their influence through warsong camps from Cargathia Keep to the Morshan Rampart in the south, also claiming and clearing Silverwind Refuge. Furbolgs, satyrs, and a variety of wild creatures, being spiders, wolves, and bears, dominate the area. The vast expanse from the Zoram Strand to the Warsong Lumber Camp is an arduous traverse. Being a highly contested zone, frequent skirmishes and attacks on faction-based settlements are commonplace. Ashenvale also serves as a pivotal travel hub for both the Horde and the Alliance, drawing traffic from adventurers from all over the world. Our story of this age-old woodland unfurls in the aftermath of the demonic Burning Legion's first arrival on Azeroth over 10,000 years ago, during the War of the Ancients. Following the cataclysmic events of the war and the sundering of ancient Kalimdor that followed, the surviving Night Elven civilization commenced the construction of their empire in the northern realms of the now altered continent. Legends whisper that the forests of Ashenvale and the environs encapsulated the remnants of this ancient land. Despite internal strife within their society, notably the exile of the highborn sect of the Night Elves, a saga for another time, Ashenvale remained in a state of relative peace until an ancient adversary resurfaced once more. Approximately 700 years after the War of the Ancients, a rift emerged between the Night Elves and the transformed Night Elves, now known as the Satyrs. Originating from a cursed affliction by Xavius, a former highborn, the Satyrs aligned with the Burning Legion. Following the War of the Ancients, the Night Elves had returned to their natural roots, embracing more druidic paths. Meanwhile, the Satyrs, led by Ixalan the Feared, launched a brutal assault on Nightrun, causing significant losses for the Night Elves. Facing dire consequences, Chandra's Feathermoon proposed summoning druids from the Emerald Dream, which Malfurion approved. Despite fierce combat near Rainwood Retreat, the Night Elves fell into a trap, and retreated, albeit wounded. Malfurion's attempt to regulate druid forms met resistance, especially from a druid named R'hllor Fangfire, who used the Forbidden Pack form to defeat the Satyrs. This decision essentially led to a widespread crisis among the Night Elves affected by this Worgen curse. This crisis prompted Malfurion to establish the Cenarian Circle, in an attempt to increase control over druidic powers. R'hllor and his fellow Worgens were exiled to the Emerald Dream. The Night Elves continued their pursuit, eventually purging most forests of corruption and suppressing the Satyr threat. Consequently, some druids departed from the Night Elf society, believing in their wild nature, while the Worgen dispersed across different regions. You can discover more about the War of the Satyr and the Druids of the Scythe within the archives of our revered library. In the tale description below there will be a safe portal to a more detailed narrative of the War of the Satyr. Peace would then return to the forested lands of Ashenvale, allowing the Night Elves to thrive and expand their influence in northern Kalimdor over the subsequent centuries. However, this peaceful period was then disrupted by the arrival of a goblin named Neloch Greedyfingers. Greedyfingers, a goblin fittingly named for his typical trait of being short, greedy of course, and profoundly entrepreneurial, saw an opportunity within the ancient territory of Ashenvale and commenced a logging camp. Initially, the goblins encountered opposition from a native Furbolg tribe, these ancient creatures being primarily concerned with the safeguarding of their sacred land. This conflict between Greedyfingers' goblins and the Furbolg tribes took a significant turn when Grommash Hellscream and his horde entered the fray. In a well-known tale, Thrall embarked on a westward journey from Lordaeron to Kalimdor. Thrall's forces set sail across the ocean, but the Warsong was separated and absent from the initial landing on Kalimdor. The Horde clans would eventually find each other during conflict against the Alliance. Despite orders, Hellscream persisted in battling humans, leading Thrall to redirect the warsong north to establish Splinter Post while the main force moved onward. In Ashenvale, Hellscream forged an alliance with the goblin Nelock Greedyfingers. The goblins provided finely crafted shredders in exchange for dealing with the Firbolg threat. A skirmish between the Horde and the Firbolgs ensued, resulting in the death of a Firbolg chieftain and several tribe members. Grommash Hellscream continued into Ashenvale, felling forests and clashing with the Night Elves trying to protect their land. The Orcs' old connection to the Burning Legion was evident, raising suspicion among Cenarius, Lord of the Forest. He confronted the Orcs, believing them to be agents of the Legion, leading to a clash between Night Elves and the Warsong clan. During the battle, Hellscream and his warriors, initially overpowered by Cenarius, consumed water from a fountain tainted by Manaroth, and by doing so, regained their connection to fell magic. This empowered them to fight Cenarius evenly, eventually leading to the demigod's demise. However, moments later, as a result of drinking from this tainted fountain, Manaroth enslaved Hellscream and his forces. Cenarius' death enraged the Night Elves, cementing their hostility towards the Orcs. Hellscream would later be purified from this demonic control, but met his end in a battle against Manaroth. But that's a tale for another time. Moving back to our narrative of Ashenvale, the Horde continued logging in Ashenvale, establishing camps like the Warsong Lumber Camp and the Warsong Labour Camp. These actions sparked ongoing conflict with the Alliance, a tale for a later chapter within this very narrative. In recent times, not only Orcs but also demons from the Burning Legion have established their presence across several locations. Places like the Firescar Shrine, Fellfire Hill, Demonfall Canyon and Demonfall Ridge are all under demonic control. Demonfall Canyon, notably named, witnessed a monumental battle between the Pit Lord Manaroth and the Orcs Grommash Hellscream and Thrall, after Hellscream's liberation from the Burning Legion's influence. Manaroth's demise caused a fiery explosion, claiming Grom's life. The site was named in honour of Grom's sacrifice, becoming a pilgrimage destination adorned with a monument in his memory. Today, the canyon is inhabited by numerous hostile, lesser demons. The Dor'Danil Barrow Den, nestled in Ashenvale, lies to the south of Splinter Post and southwest of Fellfire Hill. Historically, this was a sanctuary for Night Elven Druids, but it became a battleground when the Horde infiltrated these lands. While Orcs showed very little interest in the slumbering elves in this area, the Forsaken, later allied with the Horde, took a different approach. They conducted experiments to disconnect the druid spirits, driving them to madness. Consequently, the Barrow Den is now infested with lurking Forsaken assassins, the wrathful spirits of the disconnected druids, and the notable potent entities, Uthil Mooncall, Mavoris Cloudsbreak, and Tanil Darkwood. Sinister Satyrs have also claimed ruins at Xavian, the Nightrun, and Satanar. Cursed Green Dragon King emerged from the Emerald Dream Portal at Bow Shadow, and corruption festers in the ruins of Stardust. In addition to harbouring Satyrs, Forsaken and similar beings, Ashenvale is also home to the infamous battleground that is the Warsong Gulch. Nestled between the southern part of Ashenvale Forest and the northern area of the Barrens, Warsong Gulch sits close to where Grommash Hellscream and his Orcs extensively cleared forests during the Third War. Despite disagreements from Thrall and the Shamans, a group of Orcs has remained, continuing deforestation to fuel the Horde's expansion, and they now go by the name Warsong Outriders. With the Night Elves launching a concerted effort to reclaim Ashenvale's forest, to this day they continue to focus on expelling the Outriders from their lands. The Silverwing Sentinels have pledged to relentlessly pursue and remove every last Orc from the Warsong Gulch. This battleground holds a significant renown among Azeroth's travellers, with most having contributed to their faction's cause at some point in time. Ashenvale conceals some little-known secrets that have been shared with us before. The Idol of Remulos was entrusted to Brawl Baremantle by Remulos himself, designed to aid Brawl in channeling his druidic abilities. This artifact, resembling and linked to a green dragon, establishes a connection for Brawl with the Emerald Dream. During the battle for Mount Hyjal, Brawl was assaulted by the Pit Lord, Asgalor, who attacked him with fell energy. As Brawl collapsed, he dropped the idol. Legend speaks of Asgalor striking the idol with his sword Spite, infusing it with fell energy. Brawl's daughter Anessa tried to rescue him from the idol's corrupting influence, but her attempt ended tragically when the idol exploded, claiming her life. Consumed by grief and anger, Brawl held himself responsible for his daughter's death. This overwhelming emotion caused the spirits of the stag, the panther, the seal, and the crow to abandon him. Only the corrupted bear spirit remained, feeding Brawl's wrath with the fell magic it bore. The corrupted Idol of Remulos was believed lost, until Brawl discovered in Warsong Gulch that it had fallen into the possession of the Thistlefur Furbolgs, corrupting them in turn. To address this threat, Brawl and Logosh, aided by the hippogriff Sharp Talon, journeyed to Thistlefur Hold in Ashenvale to purge the idol of its corrupted fell energies. Amidst the fierce battle against the green dragon linked to the idol and the corrupted Furbolgs, they succeeded in cleansing the artifact. This purification allowed Brawl to reconnect with the other spirits of the wild, pacifying his inner fury. With the cleansed idol in hand, Brawl and Logosh presented it to Fandral Staghelm, seeking validation of its purification. After examining the artifact, Staghelm advised Brawl to leave the idol in Darnassus under his care, ensuring its continued purity. Before the events of the Cataclysm, a series of attempts on the lives of the Night Elves escalated into a chilling act by a shadowy group of orcs. In a brutal raid, a squadron of Silverwing Sentinels fell victim to a heinous act. The Sentinels were murdered and their bodies skinned and suspended from the trees in Ashenvale. Despite the belief that these assailants were not fully affiliated with the Horde, tensions between the factions still heightened. Seeking to quell the mounting hostilities, Hamuul Rune Totem and a contingent of Tauren druids arranged a peace summit with the archdruid Elaretha Renferal, alongside a group of Night Elf druids to ease the growing discord. Tragically, the gathering was disrupted by a faction of Twilight Hammer orcs disguised as Horde members, and they ruthlessly slayed all of the Night Elves present. Amidst the chaos, Gorkrak, the apparent leader of this orc band, was confronted by Hamuul, who queried if Grommash Hellscream had dispatched them to disrupt the summit. Gorkrak, pretending ignorance of Garrosh's identity, signalled another orc to attack Hamuul from behind. The ambush then also resulted in the deaths of the Tauren druids as well. Gorkrak orchestrated a plan to incriminate Grommash for the murders. Ordering Hamuul to be buried among the fallen druids, he was left for dead. However, Hamuul, the lone survivor, clawed his way out of the grave and summoned an owl to inform Cairn Bloodhoof of the grim betrayal that had unfolded. Across history, as we've seen in this tale, Ashenvale has often stood as a battleground, a testament to conflict born from the pursuit of supremacy. However, the brutality of war would then later increase after the cataclysmic event known as the Shattering of Azeroth. Following the Cataclysm, Thrall designated Grommash Hellscream, the son of Grom, as the new war chief of the Horde. Numerous tales abound of the harshness inflicted by Grommash on the denizens of Azeroth during his reign. We've previously delved into some of these grim actions. To discover more about Garrosh's pursuit of dominance, delve into our narrative on the Dustwallow Marsh. A portal will be provided in the description below to explore the profound impact Garrosh left on that swampy terrain. Returning to our narrative of Ashenvale, subsequent to the weakening of the elven defences during the Cataclysm, Hellscream resolved to seize the Night Elven Forest for the Horde. He took charge, leading his troops to the neighbouring borders of Ashenvale. Although the Warsong clan had made considerable progress under Warchief Thrall's rule, it fell short of the aspirations harboured by Warchief Hellscream. Garrosh envisioned constructing a vast city within the heart of the forest, aspiring to match the size and power of Orgrimmar. With abundant resources at his disposal, Garrosh aggressively surged through the Kaldorei ranks, leaving a trail of destruction towards the Silverwing outpost. Bringing down tamed protodrakes and domesticated Magnetar captives from Northrend, acquired through coercing their young, and aided by the Bilgewater cartel goblins, Garrosh aimed to realise his expansionist ambitions. The assault on the outpost led to a decisive victory for the Horde. Garrosh's strategy was twofold. He tactically struck during an Alliance leaders meeting, hoping to draw out Tyrande Whisperwind. As planned, the priestess arrived with the Alliance reinforcements to support the weakening Sentinels, but the Horde unleashed the Magnetar upon the Alliance forces. Amidst the chaos, Tyrande was wounded by Orc archers. Confident of triumph, Garrosh personally engaged in the battle. However, Worgen reinforcements led by Varian Rin and Gen Greymane intervened. Garrosh and Varian fiercely clashed, matching each other blow for blow, neutralising any interruption to their duel. Although evenly matched initially, Varian gradually gained an advantage. As Garrosh fatigued, Varian continued his assault, eventually inflicting wounds on Garrosh and disarming Gorehowl, a dying Magnetar forced to a halt in their combat, allowing Garrosh to regain composure before reluctantly withdrawing upon the Kor'kron's insistence. Nonetheless, Garrosh vowed to personally seek retribution against Varian. Following their triumph, General Chandris Feathermoon fortified defences and established outposts along Ashenvale's alliance-controlled borders. Nevertheless, the Night Elves confronted challenges due to a massive volcano eruption in central Ashenvale, causing chaos after the Cataclysm. The Horde witnessed this upheaval and saw it as a strategic opportunity to advance their objectives amidst the Night Elves' difficulties. The Horde military sent reinforcements to Morshan Rampart, which had fallen to a renewed effort by the Silverwing Sentinels to oust the Horde from Ashenvale. The Sentinels didn't just besiege Morshan Rampart, they simultaneously attacked Splintertree Post and the Warsong Lumber Camp. Eventually, Horde adventurers and the military broke the Rampart siege. Pushing north from there, they seized control of Silverwing Outpost, and using Kodo caravans, lifted the siege of Splintertree Post. An Orcish warlock poisoned the forest heart, dealing a heavy blow to the Sentinels. Horde covert operatives eliminated the commanders leading the siege of Warsong Lumber Camp, effectively stopping the Alliance offensive. After breaking the sieges of Splintertree and Warsong Lumber Camp, the eastern part of Ashenvale fell entirely under Horde control, except for Forest Song. The Horde forces then pressed westward, securing Silverwind Refuge through a corrupted water elemental, and also assaulting Rainwood Tower and Rainwood Retreat, causing casualties among the station druids and sentinels. However, they couldn't deliver the final blow at Rainwood because the druid leader kept reviving the Dryad defenders. The Horde even initiated firebombing on Astronar and moved to capture Maestra's Post, one of the few remaining Alliance encampments. If Maestra's Post fell, Darkshore and eventually Teldrassil would have been exposed to more Horde attacks. During the siege of Maestra's Post, Horde engineers at Silverwind Refuge finalized a colossal bomb for the use against the Night Elves in Stone Talon Mountains. Numerous Horde battalions moved south to reinforce Cromgar's army, carrying the bomb. However, this temporary success didn't last. The mobilized armies of Darnassus broke the siege of Maestra's Post, driving the Horde out of Astronar. After reclaiming Astronar, the Alliance reinforced Rainwood Retreat, breaking the siege by facing the shade of the ancient spirit of Shadumbra, resulting in the deaths of many Horde soldiers and the destruction of their demolishers. Alliance heroes also restored Dartol's Rod, gaining control over the Furbolgs near Silverwind Refuge and weakening the Horde army enough for the Sentinels to retake the camp. The Alliance military moved eastward, purifying the tainted forest heart and eliminating the Horde at the lumber camp. At this point, only scattered pockets of Horde resistance remained, leading to a definitive turn in the war in favour of the Alliance. Following the conflicts of the Ashenvale Wars, marked by a clear and undeniable victory for the Alliance, the resilience of nature asserted itself, healing the scars of the wars. The ancient forest landscape gradually returned to its former state of tranquility and peace. However familiar, peace on Azeroth is often fleeting. The echoes of conflict reverberated once more in Ashenvale, with the arrival of the Burning Legion's third invasion of Azeroth. Surprisingly, the disturbance did not originate from the Horde forces, but rather from the resurgence of an ancient adversary vanquished millennia ago, the Satyrs. The Satyr forces, led by Rethazar the Fallen, laid siege to Ashenvale. Acting swiftly, the Night Elves, recalling their successful strategy from the past, summoned Champion Druids from the Dream Grove to confront this resurgence. Unlike the challenges faced during the War of the Satyr in the past, this time the Night Elves swiftly and decisively dealt with the Satyrs. In more recent times, Ashenvale faced another brutal war, the War of the Thorns, one of the most significant Horde and Alliance conflicts to ever take place on Azeroth. While the intricate details of this war won't be explored here, it's essential to note the critical role Ashenvale played. After the Burning Legion conflicts, both factions suffered naval setbacks, leaving them unable to reinforce their territories effectively. Seeing an opportunity, the Horde aimed to secure Kalimdor and exploit divisions within the Alliance. They lured a significant portion of the Night Elven forces to Silithus, intending to hold Darnassus hostage and sow discord within the Alliance. Sylvanas Windrunner, the war chief, also sought to eliminate Malfurion Stormrage to weaken the Kaldorei spirit and dismantle their nation. In a surprise attack led by Sylvanas in Ashenvale, the Night Elf army was occupied near Silithus, delaying their return. The Alliance Navy also faced delays, forcing the defence of Northern Kalimdor onto Malfurion, Captain Delarin Summermoon, her city guard, and brave Alliance champions. With slim chances of holding off the Horde, the Alliance started evacuating Night Elven and Gilnean civilians to Stormwind. The Horde strategy involved rogue operatives attacking the Night Elf patrols and outposts in Ashenvale. Despite facing fierce resistance, the Horde advanced. While the Night Elves attempted ambushes, they failed to assassinate High Overlord Saurfang in Astronar. Their progress into Darkshore saw Malfurion summon a magical barrier of wisps and reinforcements from the returning Night Elf fleet, compelling the Horde to retreat to the Zoramgar outpost. The Horde sought to seize the World Tree before Stormwind's reinforcements arrived. The conflict escalated across Northern Kalimdor, eventually leading to the tragic burning of the majestic World Tree, Teldrassil. One aspect of the Ashenvale story that we haven't yet explored is the existence of the submerged, formerly magnificent Night Elven temple known as Lothar Lazal, or as us adventurers recognise it today, the Blackfathom Deeps. We plan to delve into the lore surrounding the Blackfathom Deep soon, as adventurers are set to explore it once more toward the end of our human calendar in November. And so, for the time being, we're going to bid you farewell. Thank you for accompanying us on this exploration of Ashenvale's history. As our expedition through Ashenvale's rich history concludes, we are reminded of the profound resilience woven into the fabric of this ancient land. Through epochs of conflict and strife, these verdant woods have borne witness to both the savagery of war and the grace of restoration. The echo of forgotten tales and the whispers of once great temples linger in these woods, a testament to the enduring spirit of this realm. As our journey pauses here, may the stories we've unearthed serve as a reminder of the power of history, the echoes of the forgotten memories, and the hope that amidst the trials, nature's rejuvenating embrace forever endures. Until we meet again on our next odyssey through the realms of Azeroth, let these tales stir in us a deeper appreciation for the beauty and strength held within these enchanted lands.